Hey YouTube, it's Whitney. I know that it's been a really long time. For that, I apologize. I tend to do that. I say I'm going to keep in touch and then I don't. But I'm coming back here with a little bit of encouragement from someone very close to me who is considering having lap band surgery. And I wanted to come on and show my support and give my update because it has been 6 years since my surgery and I'm still a relatively happy customer after these 6 years. And I wanted to share my experience since then and give you guys a little bit of an update from my side. So yes, my lap band surgery was May of 2010 and I started at 278 pounds. I am now, 6 years later, I fluctuate between about 177 and 183, so I'm around 100 pounds down, and I've maintained that for 6 years. So last time I talked to you, I watched that video, it was a little crazy, it was after my first marathon 2 years ago now, and still riding that high, I guess. And at that point I was around 173. Remember, that was right after 5 months of training for a marathon, so I'm not surprised that I was at my lowest weight at that point. I actually maintained that for almost 2 years, for about 1.5 years, until about 8 months ago, when, as I will tell you very soon, I went through a lot of life changes, and it was hard to keep that up. So I've continued to run. If you've watched my past videos, I have been and do consider myself still a runner. I started right after I got my surgery, about a month after, with the Couch to 5K program. I ran my first 5K. A year later, I ran my first half marathon, and I have not stopped, believe me. I am currently training for my second full marathon, which will be right after Thanksgiving this year. So I ran 16 miles this past weekend. Feel pretty good, feel pretty strong. I'm training less. I'm training 3 days a week with some cross-training, tennis, swimming, things like that, to try to keep my injuries down, because the last time I trained I actually felt like I was hurt a lot. I may have lost 100 pounds, but on my poor bones, running that much is actually still quite hard on my body. So there's that. Running is a big part of my life, and I've been good at keeping up with about 3 days a week for nearly 6 years, and I'm really proud of that. I watched a video recently, I can't remember her name, I'll try to put it in the comments, where she had mentioned, you know, is it us against the band? Is the band against us? What makes you successful and what makes you not successful? And I came into this knowing that it was going to be a struggle, and I knew that it was going to be on me to do what I needed to do to be successful. I'm going to be honest with you guys, as I always am, that I don't diet. I haven't this entire journey with the band, and I don't super plan to, mostly because, one, I love food. Two, I have no willpower to give things up. I eat in moderation. I try to be good about that, but I'm not going to give things up. I love cookies, I love cake, sugar and salt and all of these things, and I'm just not willing to give those things up. It's one of the best parts of life, eating, and so I try to do all these things in moderation when I can, and I'm not always perfect with that. Oh, believe me, I'm not perfect with that, especially recently. Speaking of food, let me tell you how things are going. I have not had a fill in 3 years. I felt like right before I started, about 6 months ago, when I gained about 5 pounds onto that stable 173, 175, and took me back over 180 pretty steadily at 180. I was feeling a little down, feeling jiggly, and feeling like it was time for a fill. Of course, my insurance doesn't cover this. The only place I found around to do this was going to charge me $500 for a fill, and I said maybe not. Plus the fact that I know I still get stuck. I have restriction, but not every day. And I think maybe that was a frustrating thing for me, is that some days I couldn't eat, and some days I could eat an entire pizza by myself. So, people getting the band, you're going to have to deal with that. Some days you're going to feel like, what was the point? I'm eating right through this band, and some days you're going to curse it to the bad place because you can't eat that healthy strawberry that you know is good for you. But I'm working on it. What else did I want to tell you? Let's see, struggles. That's probably the biggest one, is that the days where I know I need to eat, especially with running this much. I ran over 100 miles last month, and that was really cool to get back up into the mileage. That's a struggle when you need to eat. Not even just one, need to eat, and you can't. And 6 years out, I'm not surprised at this. That's what it's there for, right? But it's still hard. And it's hard to explain. So here's my other struggle. One of the reasons I think that I've gained some weight in the past 8 months is because in November I got married, and that's different. It's a different lifestyle. I told my husband, we've known each other now for almost 4 years, and had been dating for almost 4 years, and I told him nearly right away. I figured this is such a big part of my life. I'm not going to waste my time with someone who's not cool with this. And I think I might have told you in a past video that he was very supportive, inquisitive, looked up all the information he wanted to understand. He's careful with me. He wags his finger when he knows I shouldn't be eating a particular thing. And, that's okay. I really appreciate it, actually, because you need some accountability, and I haven't been on YouTube for a long time to have that type of accountability. And actually, my very closest friends know about this, but since I got married, since I've last talked to you, I've moved back from France. I got an awesome job. I'm teaching, and I love it. And got married. Like, all of these big things happened, and most of the new people in my life I've not told, and I don't know that I plan on it anytime soon. Especially colleagues, how do you bring that up? I don't know, but having some type of accountability is nice. So, to those of you considering lap band, make sure you have someone who holds you accountable, who is willing to talk about it with you, because being alone in the struggle is really, really hard sometimes. So, I think I'm going to stop for now. I'm not that interesting. I just wanted to come back here, if nothing else, to give some of you who are worried about the long-term situation with the band some hope, I guess. I think that the biggest reason I've been successful is because I have been running since the beginning. I've not stopped. And I'm not saying that's easy. I don't have kids. I don't have things like that in my life that are taking the priority away from that. But right now, currently, I run 3 days a week, and I wake up at 4 a.m. to do that before work. And I'm able to do that. If you're not, you have to find another way, or the lap band will not work for you. I also know that in eating, you have to be patient with yourself. Got to figure out what works for you. I don't know that I figured out what works for me. In a lot of cases, I default to the things I know will go down. And that's okay too, but you want variety. I love food, so I'm not going to give it up. But anyway, I'm going to stop. If you have questions, feel free to ask. To be very, very honest, I forgot my login for about a year now. I figured it out. I can come back. I can answer questions if you have them. And as I always in my videos I would like to stand up and give you a look. This is not a form-fitting shirt, but you'll see I'm basically the same person as I was before. So here's my twirl. And just to give you some perspective, that is my 6 years post-lap band surgery. So thank you for watching as always, and I will